These are all the little mods that I have rigged up to the Ranger that make it lightning fast for me to set up, super comfortable, and work with my system. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Last week, I did a complete overview of everything I am heading into the 2025 whitetail season with, like all my basic gear. In that gear assortment, there was 2 setups. I had my .5 hang-on and I had my Ranger Hybrid hang-on. This week, we're gonna dive into my specific setups and I will go through all the individual mods that I do on my personal stand and sticks and how I run them for optimal efficiency. Last year was a big test year for me. With the Ranger Hybrid making its debut, our new micro doubles, the compact doubles, I was really trying to put the paces on all those products during the season, and I sort of fell in love with the Ranger Hybrid. It's become a close second to the .5 for me, and definitely a staple that will remain in my gear arsenal. One of the 2 stands I am not without throughout a season, and probably my first choice and first grab this year. So for those of you who may not be familiar with the Ranger Hybrid, what this is it's essentially a cross between a micro tree stand and a little bit bigger of a saddle platform. So the idea behind the Ranger Hybrid was to completely merge 2 styles. Hybrid hunting has become increasingly popular, and I think a lot of people who are deep in the saddle rabbit hole are realizing they'd like a little bit more platform or even potentially the opportunity to sit down when they hunt. That's where kind of the Ranger Hybrid comes into play. It provides the best of both worlds for somebody who is really into saddle hunting, but also wants to be able to have a tree stand that'll perform like a standard tree stand in those scenarios where they might not be able to saddle hunt as efficiently. Now, me personally, I look at it from a little different perspective, and when designing this and talking with the team about the size of the platform, I was more interested in, okay, well, I probably won't use this like a saddle per se, or a saddle stand per se most of the time, but I'm more interested in using it as a micro hang-on. Getting rid of the cables, opening up some more footroom for myself, and sitting in it like I typically would my .5. So we strategically made the platform just big enough to accommodate for that. There's a lot of situations where I end up with my .5 actually hunting standing up, kind of with the tree in between me and my shot, and sort of saddle styles. So I seen this as a slam dunk for not only saddle hunters trying to get the capability of tree stand hunting back, but also for tree stand hunters to try and get the capability of saddle hunting when they want to. The elimination of the cables on this stand create an entire different platform feel. It's pretty crazy. As a tree stand hunter, we're so accustomed to feeling those cables either by our calf region and knees, and then also on the sides of the platform, and those gone really open up a lot of that standing room close to the tree, which is important for saddle hunters, but also I don't think we realize it as tree stand hunters that that's just an area that traditionally doesn't have a lot of standing room. So if you look at the general shape of the Ranger, it is very wide and there's a lot of standing room close to the tree. So for all you tree stand hunters out there which is a lot of percentage that don't sit down very often and only sit down to rest their legs every once in a while and spend the majority of their hunts or all of primetime standing and prefer a standing shot. This stand actually gives you more standing room close to the tree than any other tree stand in the line. So it's kind of something you don't think about too often. And as hunters, when we're standing, we're always trying to be as close to the tree as possible. Like, we don't want a huge gap in between us and the tree. So we're limiting ourselves to, as the platform tapers, to a smaller standing room. And that wider platform that you get with a traditional hang-on out further from the tree is really great for sitting down. And basically that's kind of where the meat and potatoes of the stand is where your feet end up in a sitting position. So if you kind of picture this as bringing that platform room back, and likewise, saddle hunters love it because of the wide base, the extra wide teeth, the extremely tight cam over. It is a very, very rock solid platform if you are wanting to lean left, lean right, really kind of stretch the boundaries and capabilities of coming around the tree to get that draw in or that shot. If you are using a traditional saddle, like it's very optimal there. Now, with all that being said, I'm going to quit rambling about the stand itself, and I'm going to get into my exact modifications on this tree stand. I'm about efficiency, efficiency, efficiency. So once I show you all the stuff I have on the stand, I'll show you how I have my stick set up, and I've experimented and have ran both styles of stick with this stand. I attach them a little differently than you might see out on the internet or other people doing, and I'll show you why I do that and how I do that if you guys want to try it for yourself. First thing I'm going to point out is I am a huge advocate of never taking your straps off your stand or your sticks. I've preached this for years, and I'm just so dead set in my ways with this that I actually physically tape my cam straps to my buttons of both the sticks and the stand. I never want to accidentally forget a strap. I know a lot of you guys you hate having the extra strap hanging out, and you do a lot of things, or I've heard of a lot of guys that are even pretty efficient, but they have their little buckle pack, or they have their side dump pouch with all their straps in them. I would never do that because I don't want to risk forgetting them. The worst thing would be for me to be in a stand, creeping up, get to my spot, and not have my belt. And I know everybody's probably going to say like, oh, well, that'll never happen. I'll never forget my belt. Well, it definitely can, and it will happen to you. If you play that game, it's bound to happen. The odds are there. The percentages is there. So if you do something like this, you'll never have to worry about it. It's literally impossible. You cannot have your stand without having your belt. So that's why I do this. Coming up to the seat, right here, I have one of our lightweight, like little accessory straps, the 1-inch. This I have on top of the seat for when I am transporting additional gear, or I want to strap anything to the seat in transport. So when it's set up like this and it's on my back, I can toss a jacket on there or anything, pack, anything you might need to strap on there. So this is a must on all of my setups. I put this strap on the seat. When you're not using it, you can leave it snug. You don't want to be sitting on the buckle, but it's nothing to just loosen it up a tad bit and run it back to the other side, like when you're hunting, and then you won't feel that if you're sitting on the seat. The third strap you'll see on this stand is actually right here on the platform. This is to secure my micro doubles to the platform. It's so easy, it's so rock solid. I lay these onto the platform. This belt is set up to where it's right in the middle, or this strap, is set up to where it's right in the middle. That secures my micro doubles directly to the platform, and those things do not budge. So I love that. And when I get to the tree and I take these off and I go hunt, I leave it completely loose. So when I hang my stand up in the tree, that just sits right there. I can tighten it up to get the slack out of it if I want to, or I can leave it, but it doesn't affect my standing room. It's always there. You can actually see that I have this strap taped on my stand as well. Fourth strap is this little guy. So this is another little accessory strap, and this one is used for fastening my compact doubles or any additional gear that I would have that I would be putting on the beam that I wouldn't have any room for. And we'll go over that in a little bit more depth later in the video when I show you guys how I pack this up to hunt it. But again, this is physically taped to one of my gear hooks, and it just never comes off my stand. I don't worry about it. So either I let it hang there when I'm hunting, or I will take this loop and I will just run it to the back gear tie and then tighten it up, and it's out of my way. But if it lives there, I have it when I need it, and if I don't need it, it's not bothering me. Another thing I want to point out that I'm an advocate of doing for any gear that you're running is taping the contact points. Do a quick little audit on your stand, how you're going to run your gear, and as you can see throughout this whole rig, I use hockey tape for the most part. I have tape on all the main contact points. So right here, I got tape here because of my doubles nesting on the stand right there. That's why I have it there. I have some tape around the hooks on my seat for the same reason. I have some tape actually on my sticks, on the V-brackets. So anywhere there's a little bit of friction or contact or potential contact, I'll just throw some tape on there and call it a day. So here's one thing I want to mention while we're on the topic. This is a new little device that we have for the hang-ons as well with tall beams or the Ranger. So any of our products that the beam extends past the platform itself, we used to provide a clevis pin that you'd have to put through a hole to lock your seat into the frame position. So all you guys with tall beams, or for the Ranger specifically, this comes with the Ranger now and you can get one. We can send it to you if you have a Ranger that doesn't have it. But it's a very small little mechanism that allows you to just push it straight and then boom, you're locked in, no clevis needed, no additional pin or anything like that. And then when you want to unlock it, you just push that up and then boom, your seat comes back down. Let's come up to the seat here. So because this is a hybrid stand and if I am standing a lot, what I tend to do is I tend to lean into the tree because I don't use a saddle. I use just a traditional kind of waist harness and I lean into it sometimes, but never like full saddle style. But I will have my knees up against the tree or maybe my waist, so I run a cushion on the back side of this seat. So that provides you a little, especially for you guys running an actual saddle, you could use that as a knee pad. But I run another seat, and as you can see here, so I have my top seat fastened with all the standard Velcro. That doesn't move on me. It's very secure and in place. With the bottom one is I will fasten it with the same Velcro on top, and as you can see here on the side, so I rig up a little bungee setup there. And what this is for is actually, so very simple, I take a little piece of our bungee cordage and I pop a hole through the seat. I make myself a little hand pull tab there with some tape. And now I can pop my seat open and close. And why I do this is so I can transport my camera arm under there. So now I can actually slide my camera arm right in there, take these bungees, put them right back to my accessory hooks, and then I don't have to worry about my camera arm during transport. So my camera arm is nestled in between my seat. I don't have to worry about it. As soon as I get to the tree and I get my stand set up, then I just pop this seat up. I can simply reach under there, snag my camera arm out, set it up, and I am ready to go. I encourage you guys, man, if anybody wants to pick up an extra cushion, you could rig this up and it's a perfect little setup. The only modification really you have to do is those bungees, and you want to cut a little notch out here just so it clears your leveler when you're hunting like a regular tree stand. Another thing to note on regards to the seat, one thing I like to do right off the bat is I actually cut the tabs off the back of the seat. Our current 0.5 seat is used with the Ranger, so that's why it has the tabs. They're not needed. They can stick out a little bit and potentially hit your back when you're hiking. So I recommend cutting those off. I just put a little piece of tape on there after I get rid of them. But again, this thing is meant to carry high on your back, so that shouldn't really get in your way unless you have it riding low. But something to mention, it is a mod that I do. All right, let's look at the backpack straps. So as you see here, I have our standard deluxe backpack straps on here. I do have it rigged up with the load lifters. You don't really use it with this because the dimensions just aren't really there. Like it's not gonna benefit you, but it does provide these with a little more secure, and they flop a little less. I took my waist strap and I actually chopped it. And I just created this little back pad that gives me a little bit more comfort in between my shoulder blades, because one thing about the Ranger that you have to remember, when you put this on your back, this should be high. It's meant to be carried high on your back. You don't want it sitting on your hips. It's meant to clear a saddle and not obstruct your waistline. To whereas your traditional tree stand, your waist support is gonna be way lower. It's meant to be secured around your hips and then just snugged on the shoulder. Another note on the buckle, I just noticed this, I do use the Silent Touch tape and I coat all my buckles. Whether I use them on the sticks or the stand or anytime I have a buckle, I do coat these. I'll do a specific video on how easy it is to do, but that's a must for me. And I usually use that in a couple other crucial points. Even you can see here my little accessory strap here has that Silent Touch tape on it. I got some on the button just for when it comes down and hits the platform, which I also have some hockey tape, so I'm doubling it up there. On the back of my beam, I have a nice long strip of that. It's super soft, it's grippy for if I'm strapping anything, like when I get in to show you how I do those sticks. Okay, so those are all the modifications on the stand itself. Let's dive in to the sticks and how I run each style of stick and how I run it with this Ranger. I'm first gonna focus on the doubles. So these are the 14-inch micro doubles right here. These are my personal sticks I ran all year last year. I will run through the mods quickly on these, and then I'll show you how I rig them on this stand and how I would pack this thing up, ready to rock, go for transport. So right here are my micros. I get a lot of questions about these, and I promise they are coming. These are our webbing aiders that I've been running as prototypes for a couple years, but they're in production, they're on their way. As soon as they're available, I will let you guys know, but that's what these are. They're 22 inches. I only run 2 sticks. Like many of you might know, 2 sticks, aiders on both the sticks. I'm still an advocate of using the buckle with these. I just love how quick and easy it is. One thing to note is I always cut about 1.5 foot at least off my straps. They're a little long. I don't hunt that much big mature timber. I would rather get in like a subordinate tree, like just off of that huge tree. And I usually keep one of my straps slightly longer just in case I need to, get it on a big tree. But so I simply wrap my buckle or wrap my strap right around. I go in a cross method, come around the stick, back up, and I have my strap sitting like so. So it's very clean, very neat. I make sure that my other strap is done to the other side. And on my second stick, what I actually do is instead of going to the top corner, I come over here and I come to the back. That keeps that buckle out of the way, and it allows me to stack both these and take advantage of the low profile nature. So then when I stack these together, I can still use my alignment pins, and one of my buckles is here, one of my buckles is there. I use the little Velcro. And these aiders, I typically just take and I'll just kind of do a little wraparound thing here, just kind of get them out of the way in the back. So now that I have my sticks all packed up neatly, lay them right on the platform, tighten up my strap, right? So I tighten up my strap, so this is what it looks like. I have the sticks upside down, and they're laying right across there. The 14s fit so perfect on this platform. And once I have the sticks on there, I will take this extra strap from my original stand buckle, and I'll kind of just tuck it under that strap right there. So it's kind of dual purpose. And then I'll slam the beam down, and that beam actually puts a little bit more pressure on those sticks as well, and it keeps everything nice and tight. Another thing this does is it actually shims up that beam to get a little further from your back too, which can be beneficial. Then you collapse your seat, spin your shelf lock mechanism there so it locks in. Now, this would have been done prior to even coming out of the tree, but here's where your pocket arm goes. So put that on there, cinch that down. Any other random gear or bag or pack, toss it right on there. I'm gonna break this down and we'll show you how the compact sticks work on this puppy. Let's take a look at the compact sticks now, or these are the compact doubles to be specific. I get a lot of questions, a lot of you guys ask how I run my compacts, and I run them way different than most people run them, and this is due to the fact that I only run 2 sticks, and I'm not a huge fan of the J-hooks. The J-hooks are awesome and keep your stuff so solid, but especially if you're running 4 sticks, 100%, you can flank those off to the side of your beam, and then, I mean, you could literally chuck your stand out of a moving truck and not have to worry about anything. So, but I only run 2 sticks. I want to be a little quicker in detaching my sticks to my stand, and I actually kind of run them like this. All right, so right here we have our compact double. Man, I don't even know, I can't say enough about this stick. There is nothing this stick cannot handle, like nothing. The gnarliest, crookedest, upside down trees, anything. This pivoting V bracket and now the newly butterflying step, like it is just completely insane, and it's so versatile. As you can see, I have my buckleless strap. I have it physically taped to the button. I can still use the Versa feature, so I can still go either way, but this strap will not come off. I can physically not take it off. So it's always with my stick. I'll never forget it. Again, I take about 1.5 feet off this, so I shorten it. Even though I have to run on this cleat, there's plenty of room for me. Here's my 8er again. Don't mind that. They're coming soon. You can run a cable aider on this. Super streamlined. They're very rigid. Okay, so how I do this with my strap, and so I come off to the left side, I come right down into the V, right between where the V bracket and the stick meets, and then I come up, and then I go around, and I figure eight this, you know? See, I kind of go right under the button, and then I go up one more time, and bam, as you can see, I strategically have that cut just long enough to where it notches into that button, and I have a little knot there, boom. That keeps that strap so secure. Never have to touch it, never have to worry about it. I'll install these grommets in just a little different orientation so they don't stack the same way. And I will stack them right into each other using the grommets so they stay, you know, as one unit right here. Now, when I'm putting that on the stand, or on the Ranger in particular, let's go ahead and we'll just smash this beam down. So the side of the sticks that doesn't have the male end of the grommet, just put that side down right against the beam, slide it all the way down, and you'll see that your V brackets will contact your 6-point bracket. Lay it nice and flush, and then that's what my little strap right here on my stand is for, that I always keep there. Simply go right over the stick, and this is important, go above the button, and then just go right back down to the other hook. Cinch it down, get all the slack out of it. Now you have the compact doubles right on the beam. It's super solid. The catch to this again, guys, if you're gonna run a setup like this and use an accessory strap or whatnot, you wanna do a little more than just going across the stick. You want to go up and around that button, so when you come back down to the other hook and you really reef that down, it's not only putting pressure on the sticks toward the stand, but it's also pushing them down into your bracket there too. Well guys, I hope that gave you some stuff to chew on. I know the season is around the corner. Some of us are hunting right now. Gear is on our mind. Getting efficient as early as possible is crucial, and right now is when we should be doing that. We should be diving into our gear. We should be making the proper mods that will make setups effortless. So I'm gonna continue this gear series and step by step break down a lot of the things I do. And the next thing we're gonna tackle is we're gonna get these things in the tree. Thank you guys for all the support. I appreciate you watching this video, supporting the channel. Again, if there's anything you guys wanna see, please drop it in these comments. We will take them in note for future videos. And if you wanna support Dying Breed, pick up some swag, check out what we got going on. You wanna visit a roadshow, make sure to head over to the website, www.dyingbreedbowhunter.com. And anything you wanna get on the Lone Wolf custom gear side of things, you can find that link right in my bio, and you can go get yourself geared up for the season. See you soon, guys. Shoot straight.